Good evening. I was honored today to receive the presidency of the 161st session of the League of Arab States Council at the ministerial level in my name and in the name of my country, the Islamic Republic of Mauritania. I would like to thank you for this, and it is a great responsibility, especially in the context of the recent developments, as we are witnessing a lot of challenges and crises at the regional and international levels. I pray to Allah to support us and help us play this important role as best as possible in a way that enhances the joint Arab action and would serve the interests and the responsibilities of the Arab nation. Of course, this is an important context, so we will focus along with the League of Arab States Secretariat on tackling our central issue, the Palestinian cause, in particular in light of the current developments. We need to deal with this genocide launched by the Israeli occupying forces against the brotherly Palestinian people. We were able, thanks to the cooperation of all member states and through the serious work of the League of Arab States Secretariat, to make very important decisions. First, as I mentioned, there are the developments in the Palestinian occupied territories. So we needed to work at different levels. First, assess the developments and reviewing the resolutions of the League of Arab States. The second level is identifying the current developments and the current stance. And the third level is opening the way to think of a permanent solution, that is establishing a Palestinian state on the borders of 1967. So we discussed all these issues, and I would like now to give the speech to the Secretary General of the League. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can say that the intensive work that took place today was mainly focusing on the Palestinian cause in light of the violent, serious events we are witnessing in Gaza. Despite that, I need to present to the Arab media how the day went and how the Ministerial Council and its members discussed different issues. We started the day by holding the Somalia Committee It is a contact committee that was formed by a decision from the Secretary General of the League of Arab States, and it is comprised of certain states: Bahrain, Djibouti, Saudi, Egypt, Mauritania, in addition to the Secretary General. And this committee discussed the developments in Somalia and the fact that it logically refuses the memorandum of understanding between Ethiopia and Somaliland region. And this committee presented to the Ministerial Council a draft communique, and it was adopted. This committee, during its work, re-emphasized the support of the stability, the sovereignty, and the integrity of Somalian territories, as well as protecting Somalia from any trespassing of its sovereignty. And a decision was made from the Council last May, and another decision was made today under the support of Somalia. And the Ministerial Council, during the consultative meeting, designated the presidency to take further steps over the coming weeks. Another committee convened. It is the committee to follow up the Turkish interventions in the internal affairs of Arab countries. And the committee, while performing its job, it's a quartet committee formed of United Arab Emirates, Egypt, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain, monitored and submitted to the Ministerial Council that there are positive developments in the relations between Turkey and the Arab countries. And this is an important remark. There are positive developments in the relations between Turkey and the Arab countries. And it decided to keep monitoring this positive, important developments, as well as securing it in the future. And a very brief decision of 2 sentences was made that this committee would keep up following up what's taking place, and this is a remarkable development. Also, the Ministerial Council convened today in a consultative meeting to discuss specific issues. This meeting was attended by every individual minister without any assistance. Accordingly, this gave an opportunity to share opinions openly and to discuss different issues. Ethiopia, the memorandum of understanding was discussed. Also, they discussed what should Arab countries do. And as I mentioned, there are certain directives that were given. Also, another issue was discussed: Argentina. And the speech of the president of Argentina about opening an Argentinian embassy in Jerusalem. And the directives were made and discussions took place, as well as an analysis, in-depth analysis, to reflect the understanding of the internal mechanisms of Argentina in this context. They also discussed the Palestinian refugees, and also waiting for the advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice and how to support the Arab stance in this context. And we discussed also the matter of the International Criminal Court and the lawsuit filed by the government of South Africa and how our Arabs can support it and contribute to it in order to reveal all the massacres that took place, as well as the genocide practiced by Israel. So these were all issues that were discussed, in addition, of course, to discussing organizing work during this meeting and how work would be organized in the future for the Arab group. And this consultative meeting showed a great importance that invites everyone to hold on to this consultative method, because the ministers spent 2 hours discussing a lot of topics. As I mentioned, the Palestinian cause was dominating the talks and the discussions. Regarding the speeches of the ministers, they delivered them all to the Secretariat according to an agreement between them to focus on the speech of the Prime Minister of Palestine and the speech of the Secretary General, as both of them, in addition to the presidency and the former presidency, represent this Arab concern of the Palestinian cause. Regarding Palestine, 8 decisions were made that cover all issues pertaining to the Arab-Palestinian struggle. And finally, a large number of traditional decisions that are recurrent were made, and there were some additions to some previous decisions. And this would need the media to spend the whole night to go through them and this file. This is a useful file as it shows the philosophy of the Arab action. Some people might say that these are just decisions. No, they reflect concepts and reflect a general context for a historical period. For this year, as well as 2 previous years and 5 coming years. This is all that was done today, and my best wishes to you all. Thank you. Good evening. Greetings to you, Sausan Abu Hussein, the managing director of October magazine. I want to know, what is the next step after this meeting? Is there an Arab plan to implement the recommendations made by this meeting? To implement the recommendations made by this meeting, do you have a plan? I can tell you that Ambassador Hussam Zaki, by the end of this press conference, would inform the United Nations and the EU and the African Union about the content of these Arab recommendations and these Arab decisions, and by doing so we are disseminating these decisions. العزب الطيب الطاهر الأهرام العربي. My question is to the minister and the second question is to the Secretary General. For the minister, you talked about reconsidering the joint Arab action. What is your vision to enforce the joint Arab action? My question to the Secretary General. The permanent representatives in the League of Arab States in their previous meeting last month took a number of practical steps to interact with the popular requests regarding the role of the Arab countries to face this aggression. Did you adopt these steps and these recommendations in this meeting? I heard from the Moroccan Foreign Minister that these measures are made within the sovereignty of each individual state, but we need a collective Arab decision to confront this Israeli aggression. Thank you. Things in the Palestinian occupied territories were discussed, and we mainly discussed 3 points. The first is denouncing the practices of the Israeli forces over the past 5 months and the genocide they are committing. We denounced this today, and we collectively agreed on that. The other point we discussed was identifying the Arab stance. It was very clear, and we emphasized the necessity to intensify efforts and use all means by countries collectively and individually to reach an immediate ceasefire. And there was consensus on this. The third point was that we consensusly agreed that there is no solution but establishing an independent Palestinian state according to the Arab Initiative and relevant resolutions. And this means that all Arab countries would work on that. And we asked each Arab country to work individually and collectively to pressurize Israel and the Israeli forces and its allies. But this is insufficient. We need also to work within the framework of the League of Arab States. And there was a proposal discussed that the League of Arab States would form a group as it has a legal, efficient department. And some countries also suggested that the experts of the League of Arab States would cooperate with other Arab countries. And we agreed that there are 2 dimensions: a legal, technical dimension, and there is also a political, geopolitical, ethical dimension and responsibility towards the Palestinians. And this necessitates collective action on part of Arab countries. So we will have collective action and use as well the relations between Arab countries and other countries to serve the Palestinian cause, as this is a pivotal issue at the level of the joint Arab action. Excuse me, Mr. President. As for the report and the recommendations for the Palestinian cause, this report was disseminated a few days ago amongst the member states after drafting it as a full report to be studied by every country. Yet, besides these recommendations and the preparedness of the Arab parties to implement them all or part of them, we should not forget that there is a communication committee formed since the Islamic Arab Summit held in Riyadh. And this committee paid a lot of visits to develop a report about its activity in communicating with permanent members as well as the activities it did. But this committee still exists. And it might be active over days or weeks, but it is there always, and it is responsible for promoting the Arab stance and defending the Palestinian cause, in addition to what is done by the Foreign Minister of Palestine. The last question. Isra Khalifa, the Iraqi news network. Iraq has donated to UNRWA $25 million US. I did not hear your question. Iraq today donated $25 million US for UNRWA. The foreign minister announced this today. So would we call on other Arab countries to follow into the footsteps of Iraq, especially that a number of other Arab countries are no longer supporting UNRWA? I would like to say that UNRWA, in all Arab interventions, has always enjoyed the Arab support. Because without UNRWA, nothing can be done. There would be no Palestinian schools in Gaza Strip or West Bank. Without UNRWA, there would be no hospitals or medical services. So UNRWA, since its establishment in 1949 up till today, is the main body to enhance the ability of the Palestinians to enjoy resilience. One of the gifts given by Allah to the Palestinians is that they are all literate. They all can read and write. There is no illiteracy at all in Palestine. And this is thanks to the schools of UNRWA and its contributions. So the Arabs are fully aware of this, and those who are supporting UNRWA are aware of this. I personally sent recently a number of messages to all countries that froze their contributions to UNRWA, calling upon them all to go back to support UNRWA. Of course, they do not have any signs up till now to get back to support UNRWA. But I think that the ethics and the pressure exerted on Palestinians would force us all to go to support UNRWA. UNRWA plays a very big role on the Israeli side. They are fully aware that UNRWA defended the Palestinians in education, health, and all services. All hospitals were depending on UNRWA. That's why they want to put an end to it. One of the methods of putting an end to UNRWA is accusing it of contributing to the 7th of October operation. The international community cannot be fooled by this thing.